Washington mornings on the Mall. 105.9 FM. And AM 630. WMAL.
Good morning. It's 7:07 on WMAL, where Washington comes to talk. Brian Wilson in today with GOP strategist Sherry Jacobus. Sorry. Blah. Already starting off getting my tongue tangled. Got to get this in real quick. We're hitting the road on Friday for the Mornings on the Mall Swing State Road Show, our third stop in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Join us Friday as we broadcast live from the Virginian, 169 Glendon Street in Vienna. That's 169 Glendon Street in Vienna. The broadcast begins at 5. Doors open for breakfast at 6. Come on out. We'll stick a microphone in your face. We have on the line Doug Schoen, pollster extraordinaire, an all-round good guy. Thought it'd be good to have somebody come in and sort of give us the lay of the land and answer those all-important pollster questions as we get ready for the big debate tonight between the president and Mitt Romney. Doug, how are you?
Brian, thanks for the introduction, and pleased to be here.
And by the way, I want to mention that you are the author of the book Hopelessly Divided. Now, the nation is hopelessly divided, but there has been sort of a shift in the polls of late. I point you in the direction of a USA Today poll, which says that in the battleground states, Romney now leads the president by 4 points. He is within 1 point of the president when it comes to women, a tremendous shift in recent days. And when it comes to men in the battleground states, he leads the president by 8. Something happened at the last debate. What was it?
Well, I think the president was seen as being weak, indecisive, not having an agenda, and bluntly, Brian, not being able to defend his own record, particularly on issues like health care and more generally the role of government in our society.
And so if you're the president and you've seen this take place after your last debate performance and you have another debate performance scheduled, how do you come into that arena?
Well, I think he's going to be more aggressive. I think he's going to try to be more decisive. It's a town hall environment, Brian, so he can't be too aggressive. But I think that we're going to see a resurgence and a return of the class-based politics that we've seen throughout the fall campaign, and indeed the earlier campaign as well.
Well, Doug, it's kind of a surprise to me that anybody at this point could be undecided, but there are undecided voters out there who consider themselves, or I guess folks like you consider them to be likely voters. What is going to help them make their decision? And isn't the fact that, don't they mostly break for the challenger if they haven't, if they're not with the incumbent at this point? How does that usually work?
Yeah,
in your
no,
experience?
they do. They typically will break 2-1 for the challenger with a couple of caveats. What incumbents try to do is, as we say in politics, disqualify the challenger. So I think you're going to see the Obama campaign, both directly in the debate and more likely after the debate, continue to run pretty tough negative ads against Mitt Romney, because from the Democrats' point of view, Heather, if somebody is likely to break against the incumbent and you're the incumbent, if you can disqualify the opponent and the person doesn't vote, that's almost as good as getting a vote as itself.
All right, so Doug, let me run through the battleground states that we've all been watching very close, and I want you to give me sort of your snapshot of where we are. Let's start in our own backyard here in Virginia, the Commonwealth. What do you see?
I see a state that had been leading Obama that is now tied or moving in the direction of Mitt Romney.
I see the real clear average of politics is Obama leads by 0.8, but there seems to be one outlier poll that sort of skews that, does it?
Yeah, there's an outlier poll, and as I remember, and Brian, you correct me, the most recent polls, the last 4 or 5 that I've seen, have, I think, been disproportionately going in Governor Romney's direction.
So, Virginia, some hope there for the Republicans.
Yes.
Ohio
is, I think, the Democratic firewall. The Democrats can lose Florida, North Carolina, Virginia, even Colorado, but if they win Ohio, they can win. I think, from what I remember, the real clear average has come down dramatically. I think the president is a couple of points
2.2.
2.2, so my memory is reasonably good.
Yeah, it's always good, yeah.
But bottom line, this is the firewall for Obama. He spent over $50 million in the state. Right now, if he can level off his decline in the debate tonight and hold on to Ohio, he has a fighting chance to win the election.
All right, now let's talk real quick about Florida, where Romney seems to be doing a little better.
I think Florida is now, I think the real clear average is narrowly for Governor Romney. Every poll, including a +7 Romney from Mason-Dixon last week, suggests that Florida's moving in Governor Romney's direction.
You mentioned Ohio and the difficulty that the president faces, and he must actually hold on to Ohio, and the difficulty that Romney faces in trying to get Ohio. When you look at the electoral math, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's still really difficult. It's very difficult for Mitt Romney at this point, is it not?
It is. The real clear average of that, I think, yesterday came down to 201 to 191 for the president. But if you assume that Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin all return to President Obama, as they've been inclined to, ultimately, as you go through the permutations and combinations, bottom line, as I see it, Brian, it may be a bit of an oversimplification, but ultimately the governor's got to win Ohio if he's going to have a chance to get over 270 electoral votes.
Well, Doug, from a pollster's point of view, what impact does early voting have on the elections? Because, of course, these people are voting when there's different issues out there. Maybe there hasn't been an October surprise. How big impact can it be?
I would say if Governor Romney had not done as well in the first debate as he apparently has, early voting would have helped the president and helped decisively. But from what I've seen so far, early voting has not been the great benefit that the president had hoped it would be. And if the governor continues to do well tonight, I suspect it will not be the advantage the Obama campaign has counted on.
All right, enthusiasm gap. We keep hearing that Republicans are more motivated to go to the polls than Democrats. Do you think that will hold up all the way to Election Day?
You know, on this one, what I would tell you is, yes, we're seeing level of motivation for Republicans higher, and frankly, as Governor Romney does better and antipathy towards President Obama increases, that will widen. The real question is whether Democrats who don't like the president but are not for Governor Romney and may not be as enthusiastic as they were 4 years ago, whether they show up this year.
Hey, Doug, is the 47% comment the negative that the Democrats have saying, or is Romney okay if he says, hey, let's shrink the 47, grow the 53? How big is it?
Look, I think it was a problem. The Democrats have tried to exploit it, but bottom line, I don't think at this point the issue is going to be a big deal, especially if Governor Romney compellingly tonight speak of his commitment to the 100%.
All right. Doug Schoen, it is always a pleasure to have you. He's a pollster and, of course, the author of the book Hopelessly Divided.
Thank you so much for having me, Brian.
Doug, it's always a pleasure. Thanks a lot, bud. All right.